So you will see there's a number of editor programs available in this section, and the ones that we will focus on would be boat shape editor, border editor, image georeference, line editor, and matrix editor. Those are the key ones initially that you will use during the survey. So the first step would be to have some sort of a background image to look at during the survey itself. And for that purpose, I'm going to move to the actual one of the surveys we've done previously. So to create a background image, there's two ways of doing it. You can first of all use the image georeference under the editor section, or you can use of wet maps. So in the case of wet maps, I've bought a Bing Maps license for HYPACK, and the advantage of that is if you are located in the correct area, you can just, HYPACK will connect to the Bing Map website and download the maps for you. It's a much quicker and much faster way of implementing maps, and I would definitely recommend acquiring either Bing Maps or something similar to be used for background maps. Creating a JPEG image from Google Earth is also another method, but if you are going to do multiple surveys, that is a time-consuming exercise, and that's why I recommend using web maps. So in this example, we're going to display using image georeference. So if you go to image georeference, this is the window that will be displayed. Obviously, we need to create a JPEG image from Google Earth itself. So if we go to Google Earth, we just deselect that UTM zone requirements. This is the image displayed of Lake Miramar, and you can scroll in a bit closer just to make sure you have a better view of the survey area itself. You will see that I've created two reference markers, and I'm in a habit of using benchmark 1 and benchmark 2 normally. You can name it anything you really like. It's just to have two reference markers where you can collect the latitude and longitude of each of those reference markers. If I select that reference marker and the properties, it will supply me a latitude and longitude. And those latitudes and longitudes will be used for the georeference portion. One important thing to note is to make sure that you have a top view of Google Earth itself. Normally, Google Earth will view in at an angle as soon as you start zooming. To make sure that you have an exact top view of the image, you can go to Tools, Options, and then under Navigation, there's a section called Navigation. So if you select Do Not Automatically Tilt while zooming, then you are sure you will have a top view of the image itself. So then you can either create a screen clip or save the image as a JPEG file. So if we save the image there, it's a JPEG file. Type in Lake Miramar. You will also notice that I keep my naming convention constant. HYPACK assigns different file extensions to describe each file, like a border file or a line file. So there's no real need to include that in the naming itself. So I would, during this instructional video, you will see that my naming convention is relatively constant during the entire time. So there they've created the JPEG image of the site. So if we go to Image, Load, and we select JPEG, we will see that that's the image we've created from Google Earth. So the next point is to create control points, ground control points. So if I right click on that specific location or marker, there's a pop-up option, add ground control point. So if I select that, Now I can type in the coordinates of the latitude and longitude that Google Earth supplies me. And when I finish with that, I will select accept that entry, and then I perform the next one, add ground control point, and I will enter the same coordinates, latitude and longitude that I got from Google Earth, and accept that again. And then I will perform a 2-point transformation. Just remember that a JPEG image doesn't have any metadata associated with this. So what we're trying to achieve here is to create a TIFF file that has the associated metadata with that. So when I've created a 2-point reference, then I go to image, save, and it will ask me if I want to save these different options. I write a GeoTIFF file, TFW file, and a SZW compression file. So if I select OK, then I can type in like Miramar. I'm just going to save it here on the desktop. And that's the process for georeferencing an image. So if I close this window and I go to my project items again, my project that's open currently, you will see at the top of the window of HYPACK is like Miramar, and project item is associated with each of the projects. So if I select now like Miramar, there's my image, georeferenced to the geodesy I've selected in the start of the survey. Alright, so that's very important, that you are working with the correct geodesy from the beginning. So that's the first point, is having a background image to display. If it's a simple survey like a round pond, or it's not necessary that, or from my personal view, that you have to create or using an image. If it's a complex survey where you have a number of tributaries coming in and there's jetties or any specific features that can impact the survey, then that becomes more and more important to have something like that.